Welcome to the Kindness Is podcast, where we take a deep dive into the true meaning of kindness. I'm your host, Kaitlin Johnstone, the co-founder of Kind Cotton. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, and welcome to another solo episode of the Kindness Is pod. I'm hoping to feel a little bit more relaxed when I'm chatting with you all today. And I have some really vulnerable stuff to share. So I've shared this on my social media, but I was recently diagnosed with ADHD, inattentive type, and I have received more questions about why I decided to get testing. How did I go about testing? How am I feeling about it after the diagnosis? Than arguably anything that I've ever shared on Kind Cotton before. And I thought that this was a perfect transition into how we can be kind to ourselves. Because I sit here every single week and I bring on amazing guests and I talk to you all about how we can advocate for the things that we want to change. But I never really take the chance to say that we need to be kind to ourselves too. Now, I'll kind of start from the beginning. I was always a very talkative child. Never really thought much of it. My parents kind of embraced it. They were like, yeah, she has stuff to say. There is nothing wrong with the fact that she is so chatty because she's curious and she's passionate and she has a purpose and she already has all of these ambitions and dreams. So that was one thing that always stood out to me when I started looking back on things. Another thing was my forgetfulness. I remember the year that we were able to start going to town for lunch and drive our car. I was the oldest one of my friends, the first one to have a license. We would get out to my car every single day, and without fail, I would have to go back to my locker and get the keys to my car. We just chalked it up to, oh, it's Kaitlin being Kaitlin. Schooling always kind of came natural to me, so I don't think that there was this alarming sounds going off from educators being like, oh my goodness, she needs help. She can't focus. She can't pay attention, because I didn't need to focus and pay attention. And I say that understanding that I'm not like tooting my own horn for my intelligence or anything, but it just never really challenged me and I managed to get by. Fast forward to teaching, and I always assumed that I was just wanting to be this overachiever, this teacher who went above and beyond. And in reality, now that I look back, I was staying until 8 o'clock every night, getting the same amount of work done that my friends who were leaving at 4 were getting done. Did I try really hard? Did I want to be that overachieving teacher? Absolutely. But it took a lot more for me to actually set my mind on a task and accomplish it. Then I became a mom. And for those of you listening who have ever had to care for another human on top of working, on top of caring for yourself, on top of maintaining a relationship, on top of having friendships and being a daughter, son, or just all of these different hats that you wear, you will understand how noisy your head can become. And not only that, something that I've already learned just in this short time is that people with ADHD, particularly women, will also tend to participate in a lot of negative self-talk. A lot of, why can't I get this right? I'm not doing enough. I'm not being enough for everyone in my life. And that is what has consumed me. As soon as I found out, I did what I always do, and I took a moment to write and reflect. And I wanted to share that with all of you because I don't think that you have to be neurodivergent to truly take this in and have it resonate with you. Big dreams, passionate heart, so many details. Where to start? Vision so grand, ideas flowing, endless to-do list, ever growing. Overachiever who works so hard, little do they know you've put up a guard, a shield in which you have it all together. But the inside is screaming, you can do better. Knowing your intelligence, but questioning your worth, constantly deciding what to do first. Intense desire to have a purpose, imposter syndrome telling you it's pointless. Embrace your brain, love yourself in the exact way you do everyone else. That's what I want to focus on today, because I think we're all guilty of the negative self-talk. We are all guilty in thinking that we are not worthy of the same love that we give to other people. And I think the first thing that we need to do is become aware of it. I mean, I don't know about you, but many times I don't even want to admit that I'm doing it. And once you recognize that you are in this cycle, that's when you have the power to break it. Listen, I am no expert by any sense of the word. However, there are a couple of things that I've already been doing and working on with my therapist prior to officially having this diagnosis that has really been helping me to not only stop the negative self-talk, but start advocating and loving myself the way I do others. What I do first, after I have recognized it, is I stop and I pause. I remind myself, as cheesy as it sounds, in my mind, that I am worthy of the kindness I give to others. You are worthy of the kindness that you give to others. And I don't want you to just speak this into your mind or say it out loud as an affirmation. I want you to do it. I want you to believe it. I want you to write down that you are worthy. Write down that you belong. Actually, write down 3 positive things about yourself and do it today, whenever you're listening to this podcast. Doing is powerful. Our brains truly get trained to think in certain patterns. We start to believe these thoughts that we tell ourselves, and these thoughts become so ingrained in us because we repeat them over and over and over again. And I tell myself, it's like working out. It's like eating healthy. It's like getting into any habit that you get into. You have to do it over and over again until it becomes a part of who you are. So I just unloaded on all of you. And this was kind of my own little therapy session for what has been going on with me. But I also know that any time that I am vulnerable and I show up in this space authentically and exactly as I am, it resonates more with people than anything else that I could put out into this world. And the fact of the matter is, something that I say all of the time, is that we are living in such a time of uncertainty, in a time in which we have chaos all around us all the time. And we want to do stuff about that chaos, and we want to help, and we want to contribute, and we want to advocate. And all of those things are so critically important. But you have to show up for yourself. So start this week. Truly. Take out a notebook and write 3 things that you love about yourself. And then look back on that. reflect on that. Continue to believe in yourself the way in which you believe in others. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the Kindness Is podcast. If you love it and it's adding even a little bit of value to your life, we would love if you could subscribe, rate, and review so we can reach even more people and make this world a little bit more kind.